I'm wearing my Falang uniform again, but I'm just resting at the barn. Trying to get a little vitamin D therapy today too. That's my excuse anyways. I will be wearing nice clothes today. I'm going to Kolat, a nice date with Fawn. I wanted something more romantic, and yet it was my idea to include Kim as well. He's been really good and really easy this week in particular, last couple weeks in particular. And he's just a sweet little Pop-Tart of a kid. So it's easier to have one boy one time and the other boy, when they're both together sometimes it's just more you got to manage. You know, and in all honesty, if there's three of them, I wouldn't be here. That'd just be too much. The two is pushing it. Let me tell you, two is I'm right here. Anyways, but everybody's been very good and everybody respects that. Just had a significant conversation with Fawn about all this, and she gets it too, and she's in agreement. And she seems to like it when I'm more forceful, and I like it when I'm more forceful. How's that? Anyways, this is an introduction to a video. This is a video I recorded, and then I re-recorded a different one. A lot of overlapping subject, which I'm going to try and edit and chop out. I'm going to go in lumberjack mode and chop the crap out of this thing. Because it's good content, and there are some different points I make, and I'm going to put the two videos up more than a month apart. And I have some regular, I have about a third of my viewers view something around every video or most. And then 2/3 don't. They catch one here, they catch one there, and that's fine. So this video that follows might be slightly redundant in some ways. Those of you that watch regularly, you may enjoy it, you may not. You can opt out anytime you want. I will not come and chase you. With all that, here we go. Just finished editing and putting it together. I'll put it up in the queue on my channel. Personal vlog from yesterday out in a remote village where Fawn was doing some community outreach stuff. She at one location, she taught how to make mufoi, which I was surprised. I thought that was like a cultural thing, like all women would know how to make mufoi, but they didn't. They don't. And she made it the way I like it, which is a little less sugar and a little more salt. And then the other one she did was this coconut maprao, coconut snack, kanom maprao. And both of them, she was saying you could package them up and put them out for about 20 baht. She showed how to do some packaging. Some of the women didn't know how to do it. There's a little culture way they wrap paper and make a little tent out of it, like a Boy Scout pup tent shape, and it's cute. And she was teaching that, and you know, and it was nice. I mean, that to me is an example of good government. Peripherally, I mentioned because I overheard them talking at one of the two locations. The group was quite proximate to this one expat who's, it is really a scary story. It's a little bit of a worst case scenario of what can happen if you're truly just not careful. And I met the guy twice. I have absolutely no issue with him. We didn't have a lot in common. Before everything went to crap for him, I'm just going to rest here. Before everything went really bad for him, I met him twice, and things were, you know, okay, you know, but then after that, and we just never got together socially. No bad blood, just never, you know. He's 67 maybe. He's not that old, you know, but he's a frail 67. I hope to be like him when I'm 75 or 80. You know, he's kind of a frail 67. Here's an example, and this is kind of what he did. These are kind of like the big mistakes that were made. I'm not blaming him. He seemed like a very kind of an affable, nice guy. The kind of guy that would be easy to take advantage of. That's the impression I got from him. He wasn't being cautious. When I met him, that was, you know, absolutely one of my clear impressions. Not to be negative, but we have to be careful here. And so he moved over like the bulk of his savings. He moved it into Thailand and put it in a Thai bank. He took his life savings, and which was significant, and moved it here. And his wife had access, his Thai wife had access to it. And there's been no talk that she's dead now. She's passed on. She got cancer. She got cancer and rather quickly died, unfortunately, but which is not uncommon here. People are diagnosed with cancer and they tend to go quite quickly. I don't know, there's therapies are different here or what, but it's just the way you hear that a lot. While she was alive, he was okay, but after she passed on, what happened was with his savings all moved here. That's an enormous fortune to a con Thai. They don't ever see that kind of money. They dream of having that kind of money. And I asked Fawn, somehow a similar amount, but slightly lesser amount of money came up in some conversation with another person. I forget where or what the heck. And I asked Fawn, kind of like probing what her thoughts were. Fawn's very well educated and has been established on this channel. She's very intelligent. So I'm going to move away from that one rooster who's really loud. He's happened to wander kind of near me. Hang on. It'll be annoying for my viewers. I almost don't hear it anymore, really. But although at times I do think of maybe getting a highly accurate BB gun. I'd have to buy Yui 2 more roosters to replace the one I killed, though. I don't know how that works. Anyways, and I'm working on a plan to take her on a nice vacation with Fawn and stuff. She's never been allowed. She's 45 years old or something and never been allowed to go on vacation. You can take that sentence for however you want to take it. Anyways, so what happened? So I asked Fawn about this amount of money, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, if I had that amount of money, I do this, I do that, I do this," and you know, they were all good things she wanted, and it was better than what I think most Thais would have said, probably. That sounds a little derogatory, and I'll apologize if that offends anyone. That's not my intent. But for someone who's never had that kind of money or realistically planned on having that amount of money, she did quite well with it. Okay, but it would not have been. She wouldn't have had that money for super long. Well, this lady was even worse. This lady was not anything near like Fawn. And anyways, what happened was she perceived herself as, this is the story I heard. I'm going to tell you how I heard it. And I'm just going to assume this is true because I have no way to check it. But she perceived herself as being so wealthy that she just began to loan money out to all her relatives. Now, whether she knew what she was really doing, transferring wealth to all her relatives, maybe. It's up for you to decide. The relatives that they loaned the money to then began to push him out of the house. One of her boys came over and fought him, and this is a frail old man, and hit him on the head hard enough to do some kind of maybe permanent brain damage. He's not quite right now, they say. He doesn't, you know, talk or walk quite right after the conk on the head. Well, you get where all this is going, and now he kind of wanders around the village and gets money. He's the guy that I've mentioned. He gets money from the local temple, and apparently I was right by that temple. I had no idea I was close to his location. I drove by his house a couple times. Fawn and I and our errands around the villages, doing some community thing with her. She'd go, "Oh, that's the bond with that guy so-and-so, blah, blah, blah," you know, whatever. And his name is similar, his first name is similar to mine. And so it catches my ear when people are talking about it, because my first thought was, wait a minute, what are they saying? And, you know, because sometimes they're talking about you, and not that I care too much, but it catches your attention. If your name is Charlie, and I say Chuck, 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 you're gonna go, who, what? You know, it's the same. Anyways, I feel really bad for this guy. This is it's just a worst case scenario. He moved his money over, which he shouldn't do. He gave his wife access to all of it, which he shouldn't do. He somehow wasn't managing or controlling the amounts being dispersed or aware of it or whatever, which you shouldn't do. And now it's threatened his physical safety, and what they're saying is he's in a permanently bad situation. All the Thais in the village are basically pitying him and don't really look down upon his ex-wife's family as villains. This isn't the only one like this I know, and again, I don't know that many people. And two, I have another friend who is a very glass half full kind of guy, overly glass half full, absolutely over. He's a nice fellow, but he's overly optimistic. He's underly cautious, and that has hurt him here, and that's all I want to go into that today. And you know, even he says we were talking about, I know of an old man who's being cared for, an old Thai man, and his Thai family's caring for him. And then he dispersed all his money, which is, though Thais tend to wait until the last bit to disperse their money, because once it's dispersed, the level of care can really drop. And I talked to him about that, and he goes, "Oh yeah, that's classic Thai. That's the Thai way. Yeah, you have to watch that." I was really surprised, one, to hear that. That's something I heard shortly after getting here, and I'm thinking all this Buddhism, all this love, all this non-materialism. And then that shocked me that he'd say that anyways. Then two, coming from him really shocked me. So I don't know what that says, but to me, I love my boy, and my boy and I were best friends before this whole adventure started 3 years ago. But he is definitely in my long-term plan. You know, and as is, you know, like Kim. Kim is very sensitive and soft. Fawn's one older boy, the little more sensitive one. I call him Pop-Tart. You know, he kind of factors in the back of my mind in my long-term care plan, because he's very caring. When I'm sick or I'm not feeling well, he comes over and checks on me all the time. You could see, you know, fast forward 20 more years, maybe I'm not doing so hot, he could maybe be helping, you know. You do want to kind of think about some of these long-term things, because none of us, generally, you know, a lot of us, we retire, we're not spring chickens already. And if you don't have health problems yet, you're going to have something. Everybody gets something, you know. I mean, so there are those few guys that just die one night, you know, loaded on tequila, having their third cigar with their fourth wife who just had her 18th birthday. Well, I'm kidding, you know, while they were stunting on their leader bike, you know. But I mean, there aren't too many of those guys. I thought I'd kind of circle back and talk about that a little bit. It's really horrible. He really, you know, I'm sure he is still a nice guy and all, but it's very sad that I can't imagine any what the hell was going on, why her he stayed with her until she died. I mean, he stayed with his wife until she died, and he gave her everything, built her this crazy mansion that, and I don't know if investing in real estate is such a great idea here either for houses and stuff, because I never hear of a successful house sale. Like, Thais like new houses, and then, okay, expats and stuff, but I don't think they want somebody else's idea of a dream house either. A lot of the architecture is kind of not that pretty. A lot of the houses are built, they're big and expensive, but I wouldn't say they're pretty, you know. It's just one person's taste, and most expats come here and design it. It looks like they're designing it themselves. To me, it looks like something a guy would design for himself. It doesn't look architecturally balanced at all. But there seems to be no market for it, because if he could, in theory, I would think if he could sell that house, and maybe, I don't know what the ownership was, but he still goes there. And I know now he's down to going back in the house and getting stuff and then selling it, and getting a little bit of money to buy food and stuff. That's what the last thing they told me. It's just, the whole thing's just super sad. I don't want to make this like a downer, but I mean, it's, I feel bad for the guy. I was really sad to hear about all this, though. That was like, I hadn't heard his name mentioned in a year, and then Fawn comes back and goes, geez, remember that guy? Well, what the hell? Here's what happened. Come here and be careful. Come here and be careful. I should do a video like 10 rules to always follow or something, you know. It's just, they're really nice people here, too. I don't want to give the impression these aren't really nice people, because they are. But, I don't know. You get it. I don't really know how to say it, but I think you guys all know what I'm trying to say. But you just got to be careful. Anyways, that's this morning's video. Beautiful, beautiful day again. I'm going to try and stretch out my back a little bit. I'm not supposed to do exercise for 2 more days, no exercise. So I'm going to stretch my back out and maybe have my second cup of coffee, and maybe consider reading a book. I want to rest, and then we're going to run some errands. Run some errands today. So, all right. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you. My name is Rob, and thank you for supporting my YouTube channel. I meant every word I just said with respect.